You told me earlier that you heard a success story about a student who used this approach. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, yeah, actually, that happened 2 days ago. A good friend of mine called me, and last week we had dinner together, and I was sharing with her my whole thoughts and my desire to speak a little bit more about the possibilities of fading out the bullying problem by using this bystander approach. And I talked to her, we had a nice discussion over dinner, and 2 days ago, she was driving her daughter to work in the morning. To school. Not old enough to be going to work yet. She was driving her daughter to school. And at the end of the day, she called me and said, Sylvia, I want to tell you that the conversation you and I had about empowering the bystander was very important because I was moved by it when we left the restaurant. And on my way to dropping my daughter off at school, we had a discussion about it. Now, my daughter is only 12, so she's very impressionable. And I had never heard someone quite categorize solving bullying with this whole bystander approach, is what she said to me. And she said, I had a discussion with my daughter and she listened quietly. I didn't think she'd even absorb what I was saying. I dropped her off at school. I think it was halfway through the day, she was standing by her locker with a guy that she knows in her class. And he was raising his voice and yelling about something that had happened to him, someone that had wronged him. And she said that her daughter saw this guy stand up and start to charge with full energy towards this little kid who I guess he was blaming for his problem. And her daughter grabbed him, by the hand and said, listen, we're in class together and I know that you're worth so much more than that. I know that this is not the way that you handle conflicts. It doesn't have to come to this because in the end, you're going to get in trouble and this anger you feel inside is going to multiply and it's not going to solve your problem. So essentially, she was telling me that her daughter essentially empowered this bully, approached him and gave him some energy and strength to think a little bit about what he was about to do. And so in that regard, she used the approach method and that was fun. Hey, doggy. Hey there.
Sylvia, what would you like people to take away from this?
At the end of the day, it is my greatest hope that we truly can begin to fade out the bullying problem. And I believe that truly can happen with a bystander. I don't think we focus enough on the vast majority of us that always find ourselves in situations where we can speak up, where we can give voice to the voiceless. That is of vital importance. We can attack the bullies and we can go after them and approach them, but not always with good results. But we have control as bystanders, whether you're in the grocery store and you hear something strange going on, or whether you're in the house and you hear your parents talking in an inappropriate manner to your younger sibling, whether you're in school and the teacher is bullying the student. I'll give an example. I had a good friend, and she turned out to be a big bully. When I was in elementary school, there was another girl who was a Muslim, and by virtue of her religion, she wasn't allowed to shave her legs or wear conventional bathing suits. We all had to wear that, and she wasn't allowed to. But she succumbed to being bullied by our swim instructor, whereby she eventually had to get into a bathing suit. And with that, she was teased so greatly by everyone for having such hairy legs. And even though I wasn't part of the people teasing her, I stood by, often saying nothing and doing nothing. And now that I'm a little bit older, I reflect back and see that I had a very active role in that situation, in her torment and her torture. I had a chance to give voice to the voiceless in just approaching the people making fun of her and explaining why she was unique and different. And I feel bad about that, and I can't change the past. I think about all the situations in which I stood by and did nothing, where I could have given voice to the voiceless and I didn't. And so I hope everyone will start to take this whole bystander role a little bit more seriously, because we can chip away at the bullying problem if we focus on that. Because the bystander indeed is armed with the ability to approach the bully, report the incident to a higher authority, and also motivate the victim. So hopefully we can all start arming ourselves as bystanders with the tools we need to intervene where possible to make a difference.